Hello everyone, my name is Faith Aguilar. I'm a registered nurse with the virtual care team at Oscar. Today we're going to talk about self-administering insulin using a syringe. So let's get started. First, we're going to gather our supplies. You're going to need 2 alcohol wipes, your insulin syringe, and an empty container to safely dispose of your insulin syringe once you use it. Today I'm using an empty laundry detergent bottle. You can also use an empty milk container, a small Sharps container that you can purchase that at your local pharmacy, usually about $5 to $7. Today we're going to go with this empty laundry detergent bottle. So once you've collected all your supplies, you want to place them on a flat, clean surface. Then you're going to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Make sure they're clean and dry. And then we'll get started. So let's talk about the syringe. All right, so this is your barrel. You're probably going to be using a 0.5 milliliter barrel, and that should hold up to 50 units. So your long lines are going to mark 5 units, and then the short black lines in between are going to mark 1 unit. So your barrel's also going to have these little wings on the side here, and those are what help you to hold the syringe. Then there's also going to be a white or orange cap, and that's what covers the plunger. So you can remove that now if you'd like. Then inside the barrel is where the plunger is, and you can push and pull, and that's what moves it up and down. Now you'll see that it also has a black rubber stopper, and that moves when you push and pull. So you want to make sure that the very tip of the black stopper is where you're going to be measuring your insulin line. Because when you're measuring liquid, there can be a curve, either in or out. So you want to make sure that the black tip on the stopper is where the line is. Now, at the other end of the syringe is your needle. That should be covered with a white or orange cap. So leave that covered for now. All right, now let's take a look at your insulin vial. So if you're using a new insulin vial, you should have a plastic cap on the top, and you can go ahead and remove that now and throw it away. You always want to write the date of when you open the vial, so that way you know when a month has passed and it's time to dispose of it properly. So before using it, you always want to look closely to make sure there's no lumps or cracks or discoloration, because if there is, then you'll have to dispose of it properly and obtain a new vial. Now, if it looks kind of suspicious but you're not sure, you can always contact your pharmacy. If you're using clear insulin and you've already inspected it, no lumps, cracks, everything looks fine, then you're ready to use. If you're using cloudy insulin, you've already inspected it, looks fine, then you're going to put it in between both hands, roll it back and forth about 20 times until it gives a little even look. That means it's mixed well. Then you're ready to use. Do not shake your insulin, because that makes it form a lot of air bubbles, and we don't want to be drawing up any air bubbles. So after we're ready to use, we get our alcohol swipe and we wipe the top of the insulin vial, and then you're going to let it air dry. When you're drawing up your insulin, first you're going to inject the amount of air into the vial that's equal to the amount of insulin that we're drawing up. So in this case, I'm going to be using an example of 10 units. So I'm going to first inject 10 units of air into the vial before I draw up my 10 units of insulin. So your insulin's going to have, the syringe is going to have an orange or white cap that's covering the needle. So you can take that off carefully. You just try to pull it straight off like that. Because if you try to pull it off like from the side or kind of bend it, it could damage or break the needle. So you just try to pull it straight off, and then you can place the cap down like this. And we're going to draw up whatever the amount is that you need. For me, I'm going to use 10, but we draw up that amount whatever our insulin amount is, we're going to draw up that amount of air and inject that first. So with my black stopper, the tip, I can see that I'm at 10 units. So I have that amount of air. And then we're going to hold it kind of like a dart or a pin. Hold that right over the center of the white top. And you're going to put the needle in and try not to touch the outside metal cap part. You want to try to aim for the very center of the vial. So put that in. And then we slowly just push the plunger down. And now we've injected our air. Okay, so now that we've injected our air into our insulin vial, we're going to slowly turn our vial upside down. So our vial's going to be at the top and our syringe is going to be at the bottom. And then we're going to make sure that our insulin line is above the needle tip. Because if the needle tip is above the insulin line, we're going to be drawing up air. And we don't want that because then we don't get the full amount of insulin that we need. So if your insulin vial doesn't have that much insulin in it, you might have to draw back the needle a little bit. So go ahead and do that now if you need to. Once you've done that, then we're going to use our white plunger and we're going to slowly draw up the amount of insulin that we need. I'm going to use 10 in my example. You use whatever the amount is that was prescribed to you. So, and just remember, we're looking at the black stopper. The very tip of the black stopper is where we're going to pull back that line to. You might, if you, for whatever reason, have air bubbles that you're pulling up into the syringe, that's okay. You're just going to push the white plunger and have that, the insulin and the air bubbles, you just push it right back up into the vial and then you pull it to draw it up again. And you might have to do that a couple times until you get rid of the air bubbles and then you just have your full insulin dosage. So do that now if you need to. You just take your time and, you know, just practice if you need to, if this is your first time. So once you have the full amount that's required, then you're going to slowly turn it around. So you'll have your, again, the vial is going to be now at the bottom and your syringe on top. So you place it down on your flat, clean surface, and then you're going to pull the syringe out slowly. Make sure you try to pull it out straight, not bent or crooked. So you pull it out straight, and then you're going to just place that syringe on your flat, clean surface. Make sure that you don't touch the needle with anything around. Just lay it down on the flat, clean surface. Now we're going to get our injection site up. So there's a few different options that you can choose. You have your abdomen. You can go with the front or side of your thigh, or the upper outer part of your arm, your buttocks, whichever you choose. Today we're going to go with the abdomen. Now, you should be changing the injection site by a finger's width for each injection, and then alternating the site altogether once a week. Okay, now we're going to get our second alcohol swab, the one we haven't opened yet. We're going to open that up and we're going to cleanse the area of skin where we plan to inject. Now, I'm choosing the abdomen. If you're going with the abdomen, you want to make sure that the site is about 2 inches away from your navel. So you pick out the area and then you start inwards in the middle of the injection site and you move in a circular motion outwards. So you cleanse that area and then you just let it air dry on your skin. You want it to let it dry completely so that way you avoid stinging when you inject it. So once it's dry, you're going to gently pinch up the area of skin that you cleansed, and you want to get about 1 to 2 inches with your thumb and your first finger. So this helps to make sure that when the insulin is released into the fatty tissue, it's just beneath the skin. So we'll do that now. Just kind of pinch it up gently, and we'll get ready to inject. Now, if it's your first time, or you're still feeling a little nervous about the whole thing, you can just take your time, take a couple deep breaths, and then whenever you're ready, you inject the insulin. So you want to make sure that your needle goes in at a 90-degree angle. So you want to insert that in straight, or if you're very thin, you might need to inject at a 45-degree angle. So whichever works best for you, you can go ahead and insert that now. Then once the needle is fully inserted, then you slowly push in the plunger to deliver the insulin. Okay? Then once that's done, you wait about 5 seconds. You slowly remove the needle. Wait a few seconds, just take your time, there's no rush. Let your skin go, and you're done. Okay, once we're done, we can get rid of our used syringe. You don't want to recap or reuse the needle. So you just throw that syringe in your empty laundry detergent container, your sharps container, whatever the safe container is that you're using. So get rid of that in there, and then the alcohol swabs and the caps, they can be thrown away in the regular trash. All right, well, I hope this helped everyone. Be on the lookout for our next video. We're going to talk about our eating habits, portion control, just a few things that can help us on our journey to be our best self. Bye-bye.